Hey.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another Rev Talk. Sorry, we've had some technical difficulties here, so I'm laughing. I'm Reverend Kim. I'm here with Reverend Beverly for another Rev Talk. Thank you for joining us. So, Reverend Bev, what are we going to talk about tonight?
We are going to talk about again. So turn your computer off, turn your computer on. We're going to continue the discussion from our other fellow angel, Amy, who gave us a lot of fuel for thought. And we're going to put our 2 cents in it.
Okay, yes, you're absolutely right. So what Angel Amy did write and sent out this morning was, no matter where you are on your journey here on this planet, at this time, you cannot get it wrong. When faced with a decision or experience that you are having and think you are making a wrong decision, tell yourself you are not. You are growing. Your soul is growing and learning something by going through whatever it is you are going through. Take away the judgment of the things you think you are doing wrong. So it goes on. Now you and I have
Yes.
brought this up in a different light, where I have said, and I believe this, that there are no mistakes. You know, you there are no mistakes. So
They're lessons.
Yes.
And you need to look them as such.
And experiences. They're experiences for your soul. So it's and that's why we're here, to experience. It's kind of freeing for me to, there are no mistakes. Yes, there are times when, okay, yes, you've hurt somebody, it was unintentional, maybe it was intentional, whatever. It was an experience. So if you take away that judgment of right and wrong, which is basically what it is here on this plane of existence, is a judgment, based on society and what you've been taught and all of that. If you negate all of that and tell yourself that it's an experience, it's not right or wrong, it is what you are experiencing, learn from it. And
That's good.
In the same thread, to allow somebody else to experience what they're experiencing. If you look at them and say, that's wrong, you're doing it wrong. No, they're doing it the way they're supposed to be doing it.
It's the judgment and for lack of words, the rules, the stigmas. These are things we have to ignore and listen to ourselves. Go deep within yourself and do not judge, but find the answer. And the example you just gave, if you said something to someone and it hurt them, I was always taught, if you did not mean it in a negative sense, it'll go right through. They chose to take it that way.
Right. Yeah.
We need to take that, as you stated, one step further and realize that upset that person, respect that person enough to discontinue it, because she's not at that point where she can just let it go. And that's her lesson in that particular instant.
Right.
Same thing as you were saying, let her solve her own lesson. But see, it just comes full circle. No matter how we say it, we have to honor it and let it go full circle. And it takes all parties to do that.
Yes, absolutely. Well, and that's the other thing that, like you had said, if you did not mean to hurt that person, that's the thing. It's your intent. If you're saying something to somebody and you're coming from a place of love and respect, as soon as it leaves your mouth, you have no control over how that person is going to perceive
exactly
what you said. So you may have, and of course that's where a lot of the confusion and a lot of like shock comes when somebody reacts, in a way that you thought, oh, wait, did I say something wrong? It's like, no, you didn't.
No,
You didn't say something wrong. They interpreted it their own way and in a different way than what it was meant. And that's their choice. That you're absolutely right. That's their, how they chose to deal with something or to perceive something, which is very freeing. Actually, it's interesting if, and I know for me, if I can take the time to allow that to process, rather than the knee-jerk reaction of, oh,
yes,
I insulted somebody or I said something wrong, or it's that whole chatter that goes on. If I'm able to stop myself and at least pause and to think about it, I get to ask myself, okay, so where did that come from? Did this come from my heart? Did this come from, a true affection or respect for that person? Okay, yes, then I have to let that go, and let them perceive it the way they're going to.
that's exactly what I've found in my experiences now. I no longer am reacting to things. I take that deep breath and I sit, and they look at you, well, and I'm just mulling it over. I'm just thinking about it before I want to choose my words wisely.
That's awesome.
They get flabbergasted because that's not me. It wasn't me. And it's fun to sit back now and observe other people and their reactions, because it comes full circle to everybody, whoever's in the group. And that's where you'll start learning leaps and bounds, is not worry about the people there, see everybody in their group's reaction.
That's very true. That's very true. And to also, you know, like we have talked before, you don't have to fill all that dead space with talk. You don't have to come back with something in a conversation quickly. You can
It stops if you don't. It has nowhere to go.
right.
Mhm.
Well, exactly. And so then, somebody wants to fill that silence with something, and you don't have to. And that's where your power comes from, by being able to just sit and listen and observe. You learn so much by doing that.
I'm finding I'm very easy. I can do it easily out and about with family. But when it comes to my mother-in-law, that's what, and I'm working on that, because now I just say it's a blessing to have her in my life. I keep telling myself that. And so everybody is going to have somebody that you come in contact is going to have a trigger for you.
Right.
It gets easier and easier the more you take that step back. Like we always say, take that step back and don't respond or react.
Well, and you know what, and that's, you're absolutely right, that is true. There's, with Azella, there is that added level of, she's not quite understanding everything around her at this point in time. So you can choose to be really frustrated about it, or you can look at it and say, like you've said, she is a blessing in my life. And, you know, we've talked about this before, she talks to a lot of people around her.
Yes.
And I'm thinking, maybe she is talking to a lot of people around her. And I don't know, engage that with her as far as, okay, so what are they saying? How
Well, like, I have to say, her husband is telling her to come to him, and he's point blank telling him no. He wants off with him. I don't want to go sleep the rest, because she believes she's going to sleep the rest of her life. And she goes, I don't want to. I go,
Oh, she just thinks she's
being
going to fall
issy.
asleep and not wake up.
Yeah, that's what her thing is.
Oh,
And
funny.
it's funny because I listen to the conversations and I know who they are, and it just it tells its own story in itself.
That, you know what, that is awesome though. The fact that she just, and again, like I've said,
She's right by the veil. She's right there.
yeah,
I think it was you that told me she's going to be around a while until her body gives out
well,
because
yeah,
she's going to go.
yeah. I mean, it's, and I don't mean to sound, it's like daunting, okay, she's gonna be around for a long time. I don't want to put that out there, but you're right. She is right there at the veil,
Yeah,
and when her body says it's time, she'll be ready as well. And
yeah.
it's just, for us, and again, and I just read something else that was really interesting. I was going to say divine timing, and I do not like that, but they explain it was explained differently, as to consider it as divine orchestration,
Oh,
so
that's
that
nice.
you are a part of all of it. You are the composer and the conductor, and you're the instrument, and you play the instrument, and you are part of the whole thing. So
We're going to use that.
divine orchestration also has to do with everybody in an orchestra. So
Yeah.
you might be ready for something to happen, but like the person who's playing at the cello might not be there just yet. And a lot of things have to fall into place in order for that, to for that orchestration to come about, for the music to continue to play.
But that is so good. See, it implemented
There
it.
it is.
It takes, like, there's certain things we do that trigger us, but when you change the verbiage, it opens a whole new world.
Yes.
And I think that should be said from now on, because it's perfection.
I just loved it when it clicked for me when I read it. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. I get it now. That makes more sense.
And when you speak about divine timing, it's always they're working with it. And when I do my meditations and stuff, that's what I'm getting. It's coming. We've got everything's in process. Well, if you take all that out and say orchestration, it's just like,
Right.
oh, that was a good.
I loved reading that. I was like, oh, there it is. Okay. Thank you very much, because I was getting triggered, and by the whole divine timing thing. Oh, you know,
Yeah.
it's all divine timing, and I just want to punch somebody in the face. So,
I think we overuse it.
well, that's true too.
And
Yeah.
just so it is another one.
Yes. It is what it is.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. But I loved the idea of divine orchestration. That just, and I guess that would make more sense for me too, since it has to do with music, and I'm very all about music and tone and sound, and so that made more sense for me.
Yeah.
I love it. You're absolutely right. Doors open up. You change the verbiage, you flip that lens, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, there's a release. Yay.
I think that that was spectacular. I mean, that just hit home for me. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. So I think for today, how do you feel? I mean, we got something else to go on here?
I think I'm complete. I would just like to say to everybody, don't get caught up in the moment. Let the moment pass. Because no matter what the problem, no matter what it is, it too shall pass, which is another overused one. But it gives you, allows you to come back to you. And that's what we're all here about, us. You know, the individual and what their true heart is telling you to do.
Yes.
And I think that's important. Just remember, you are the one that is doing all this.
Exactly. And release that judgment. Free yourself.
Exactly.
Free yourself from that burden. You know, release the judgments, because we are very judgmental of ourselves along with
Yes.
everybody else. If you release that, give yourself a break and let that judgment go and realize that you're here to experience, and so is everybody else. You know, it gets to be, it takes the pressure off. And I think we all need to have some of the pressure taken off of us. So with that, my friends, thank you so much for joining us again here in January. My gosh.
It's almost February.
I know, flying by, flying by. Yeah, next week. Oh my gosh, it will be. So to remind yourself to be gentle with yourself and to be kind to yourself, and to remember that you are unique in all the universe. There will never be another just like you in all of space and time. You are powerful, you are cherished, and you are loved. And without you, the song of the universe would be incomplete. Until next time, my friends, be well.
Okay.